So we decided to start doing weddings here at Grub Vine back when I can't remember what level it was of lockdown, but basically there was so many people who were having to cancel their celebrations, cancel their weddings because they weren't allowed to have the number of guests that they wanted to have at their wedding. And I just thought that, we have this wonderful diverse space that's made up of sort of three smallish dining rooms that can accommodate up to 50 people. And instead of, we were also just sort of in a very difficult time as well with the restaurant industry being hit with all these sort of alcohol bans and sort of being scapegoated as a COVID spreader situation. And I thought, well, why don't we lend our space to people that want to get married, but within a sort of smaller group and a comfortable environment. One of the reasons why we sort of thought this up in the first place was that back in 2018, when we first opened, the second day of us being open, my wife and I actually had our papers signed at the restaurant, and we had like a little brunch with some friends, because we were then going to go and get married and have our real wedding in Mozambique. Her being South African, me being English, we had to get the papers done before we went out there. So that was actually the first wedding we had here. And yeah, that's where it all sort of came from. Well, I wouldn't say that micro weddings are better than normal weddings. I'd say that they're both very different. I think the micro weddings are perfect for this current time that we find ourselves in, because you can still celebrate your special day, but with a smaller group of people. And I think also it gives people, getting married in the city gives people another option, a different option than doing the traditional wine farm wedding, which is nice, but instead of it costing you upwards of 250,000 rand, you're looking at a much more affordable price point, if you like, to get married in the city, to get married in our restaurant, essentially. So the three venues, the three areas that we have within Grub Vine, we have the main dining room, which seats up to 40 people. Very intimate, very cozy, quite stylish. So what we do is we actually use that as the eating area, or the dining area for the lunch or the dinner of the wedding. And then we have the green room, which is a similar size area, but it lends itself to being more of a space where you can have your ceremony for 40 people. So we've actually hosted, I think, around 8 or 9 weddings now within that space, and they kind of work really well together, because people arrive, the bride comes in, and it's almost like it's a blank canvas as well. So you don't have to go overboard on hiring in decor and everything, because we've already kind of got that covered. But if you want to add in some nice flowers and things like that, then you can. And yeah, that's where we have the ceremony. And then after the ceremony, what we do is we lead the guests through to our wine bar area, which is Culture, which is hosted in a 220-year-old heritage building, which is right it's all in the same space. But you just kind of walk from one room to the next room, and then you have your reception, your canapes, and your bubbly, which is really, it gives a really nice change of scenery after the ceremony. Then after the reception, then we lead everyone into the dining room, and everyone sits down and has their lunch or their dinner. What we can also do is, while they're having their meal, we then transform the green room where they had their ceremony into the sort of party room, so they can go in there and have a bit of a boogie afterwards. Continuing in the future to get married on a smaller scale and in establishments such as ours. I think people's mindsets have kind of changed, and like you say, instead of having a massive wedding for 250 people, rather spending that money on something else that can benefit their people as a couple, and then having something a little bit more unique and a little bit more bespoke, like a smaller wedding at our places will definitely continue. I mean, I actually started it thinking, oh, we'll probably do a few through winter, and then that'll be it. But actually, we're now 2 this week, which is amazing, and I quite enjoy them as well. Actually, I got asked to be an MC at one of the weddings. I was the chef and the MC, so that was very good fun. Made for a busy day for me, that's for sure. So one thing I didn't want to do from the beginning was try to package weddings. It's just not something that I have background knowledge of, or it's just not my forte. But what I wanted to do was to be able to give people my space so that they can create what they're looking for and be able to customize what they're looking for. So when people get in touch with us, we just invite them in for a coffee or a glass of wine, and then we sit with them and what it is they'd like. I mean, we've got a wedding this week that wants instead of a wedding cake, they want a donut cake. So a cake made of donuts. So we're doing that. I mean, you can't put that in a package. So I think that's also one of the reasons why we didn't want to package it. But I think, starting point, for me, it's about having a full restaurant. So eliminating the huge overheads that you from traditional wedding venues, and kind of bringing it back to, it's a 5-course meal and wine pairing. So you're looking at around a starting point of 60,000, and if you want to have extra add-ons, and if you want to have bottomless bubbly or that sort of thing, then of course we can do that. So it's kind of it's in your control as to what you'd like to do.